Good morning. This is PPACG. We're going to be starting about 9:05, so you have time to grab that last cup of coffee. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, good morning. This is Joe Whitecat, Fort Carson. Sound check.
If I have to move, I have to move. Good morning. Oh, thank you.
That gavel.
Yep. You have to hit the gavel hard. If you don't learn how to hit it hard. So my monitor's not currently going, but I apologize for being late. So I just had a little issue this morning and I needed to take care of it. So we'll call this meeting to order. It's 9:07 a.m. and we need to go around the room, and I can't see online currently at the moment, so let's go around the room. And I will say I know Andy Gunning's upstairs in his office because he has bronchitis and does not want to get any of us sick. So Councilmember Rainey, you're first.
Good morning, City Councilman Roland Rainey, Colorado Springs.
Good morning. I'm Dan Blankenship. I'm here representing the Air Quality Control Commission. I'm also the Utilities Director for the City of Fountain.
And good morning, Councilman Dave Donaldson, District 1, Colorado Springs.
Good morning. Short-term Mayor Kelly Case, City of Woodland Park.
And your toots. I don't think mine's gonna work.
You want to use mine?
Yeah.
Now you're on. You're
Now I'm on, okay. Right around the thing. Okay, good morning, Todd Dixon, Mayor Green Mountain Falls with kind of a questionable microphone, so.
Mayor Thompson, City of Fountain, and you're Commissioner Blankenship when you're here.
Good morning. Mitch LeKine, Mayor of Monument.
Natalie Johnson, Mayor of Manitou Springs.
Bill Wysong, County Commissioner, District 3.
Corey Applegate, County Commissioner, District 4.
Hello, J.R. Gatlin, council member for Cripple Creek, representing Mayor Annie Durham. Thank you.
Jeff Bond, representing Peterson, Schriever, and Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Station.
Cheryl Richards, Office Manager for the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments.
All right, I've moved over here. You get to introduce yourself, Dennis.
Dennis Stern, Palmer Lake Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Online, let's see if I can get this right. We have Commissioner Amy Mitchell from Park County. We have Andrew Gunning, our esteemed director of PPACG. Randy Williams, City Councilman from City of Colorado Springs. We have Colonel Dave Herndon from USAPA. Joe Wyka, you'll have to remind me where he's from. Laura Cronick from the town of Monument, and William Shaw from the town of Rama. I think I got that right. Also, I think Kimberly Gold is available if needed. So that is who we have here. So we do have a quorum. I will take a motion if everybody's reviewed the agenda to approve the agenda.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Mayor LeKine,
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Public comment can be made before or during the meeting. Public comments during the meeting are limited to 3 minutes and can be done at the meeting location or remotely by the posted Microsoft Teams link. Individuals are encouraged to email us prior to making a public comment. Is there anyone in the room who would like to make a public comment? All right. And is there anyone online? Okay, thank you. All right, so that's item A. Now we're going to have the wonderful item B, which is the farewell to Mayor Case. So I will start this off. I have We have thoroughly enjoyed working with you. We are going to miss you so much. You're part of Mayor's Row. Who's going to be replacing you?
Our election was yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and George Jones, who is a current city council person, will be replacing me. He ran unopposed. I don't know how he managed that because I fought tooth and nail every election that I went through. But the environment has changed, I think, in Woodland Park. And so it was really a pretty quiet election. And those folks that I would have selected myself, and of course that I voted for, all won. And so we're pleased with the outcome of the election. And George will be joining you, I'm sure. It's typical for the mayor to serve on this board. So he'll be great. You will enjoy him. He's very intelligent and has his heart's in the right place. And so
Okay.
that's what's coming.
Well, and I did think that's a compliment to you because I usually find the environment changes based upon the leadership.
Oh, thank you so much.
We've had good things that we've done in Woodland Park, and I think that there will still be good things left to accomplish coming from CDOT. Anyone else who would like to roast our wonderful mayor? Councilmember Donaldson.
Yeah, thanks, Madam President. And it won't be a roast, but as a table mate here with Mayor Case, I just feel like I should say thank you to her for her service here on PPACG, and I've appreciated her thoughtfulness and contributions to what we've done here over the last few years. And so thank you, and please come back and see us.
Thank you, Dave. I certainly will.
Mayor Todd.
Well, you're definitely gonna be missed. I can't tell you how many times I've been up to Woodland Park and we've been there, and it's just a joy to see you and be associated even with you on this board. Really gonna be missed. Feel free to come to Green Mountain Falls. We just restocked the lakes to throw a fishing pole in. Rid of that. Yeah, wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you.
Mayor Thompson.
Kelly, I've really enjoyed getting to know you during your time here. Women mayors, kind of a smaller group, but your professionalism that you have brought to everything and your wisdom and your advice has truly been appreciated. When we've worked through things financially through PPACG, knew I could always rely on your expertise advice offered openly and willingly without any judgment or just advice. And I think not only has Woodland Park benefited from that, but this entire board has benefited from that. And I'm really going to miss you. And hopefully I'll get up to Woodland Park when they let me out of my hidey hole every once in a while. And but you have done a great job in Woodland Park, and this board has been blessed because of you. Thank you.
Mayor LaKind.
Well, I feel very honored to have had the ability to serve alongside you, not just on PPACG, but adding you to our little legislative group. You are feisty and you do not hold back. And that is very refreshing to hear the truth spewed without having to worry about errors. And so we're going to miss you on the legislative group. And hopefully, well, George has got big shoes to fill, so we're going to hold him to it.
Mayor Johnson.
We could say something. We never quite worked together, but congratulations on being able to walk away and feeling proud of your work. And I'm glad that things are going to continue to move forward in the direction that works for your community.
Mayor Case, we haven't had that much of an opportunity, but just to add on, leadership at the top is huge. And just the interactions we've had both at the county level and then the small interactions at Woodland Park, it's great. So enjoy your freedom. And again, thank you very much for all you've done.
Yep. Mayor Case, thank you for your service. Appreciate you coming down and, all the way down the hill for these meetings. So that's awesome. It was good to collaborate with you. So and I look forward to working with your predecessor. I heard he has some award-winning albums. So
Councilman.
Mayor, as your neighbor from Cripple Creek, we hope to see you out on that Shining Mountain Golf Course this summer. You've got some time on your hands now.
Okay, go ahead, staff, and then we'll, if there's anyone online.
Hi, Mayor Gaze. On behalf of PPACG, I'm taking it upon myself to thank you. You have really been a important guide in my life when we went through the policies last year. You've always been very supportive of us, and so we are going to miss you. Just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, and we are going to end up with Andrew. Go ahead, Andy.
Thank you so much, and sorry for having to take the meeting remotely, but thank you so much, Mayor Case. It's really been a pleasure working with you. And Carol said it best. We've had a chance to work with you closely when you served as treasurer, just super professional and responsive. And we really hope we can cross paths and be able to work again together someday. So thank you so much, Kelly. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy. It has been a blessing. It really has. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else online who would like to make comments? Okay, well, we have a gift, and I think we should do the pictures. I know the mayors especially would love a picture. So let's do it up here if that's okay, Jared. Oh, my mic was on. Any pictures? Yes. I know. Yep. Mayor, you know, whatever. I'm happy, whatever you guys feel like.
We'll do everybody and then we'll do the mayor.
Okay, let's do, okay, everybody turn sideways like this. Pickles. Now, have the title mayor. Or something. All righty. Maybe it's. Oh. Okay, now we're going to have military installation reports. We'll start with Colonel Dave Herndon with the Air Force Academy.
Madam Chair, good morning, board members, community leaders. Greetings from your United States Air Force Academy. A couple of upcoming events that I'll bring you all up to speed on. We are looking forward to hosting our Military Affairs Council members for a tour of the Academy tomorrow. We're going to have a special focus on the new visitor center, which will have its grand opening, as I mentioned during our last session, on the 15th of May. That project, it remains on track, and we're excited to welcome you all into what I can tell you is an exceptional facility that's going to really do an outstanding job of telling the Academy's story and its impact across the national security apparatus, the nation, and the globe. Switching gears a little bit, Miss Amy Kelly, our Director of Community Initiatives. I know many of you have worked with her in the past on a range of USAFA activities. She will be speaking on a panel about the Sentinel Landscape opportunity at the Pikes Peak Outdoor Recreation Alliance Summit on Friday. She'll be joined by the district manager of the Pike National Forest and the applicant coordinator for the Sentinel Landscape from the El Pomar Foundation. We're also proud to announce that yesterday in Denver, Air Academy High School was designated as one of Colorado's newest Purple Ribbon schools in recognition of its support for military-connected students and their families. On the 23rd of this month, we look forward to hosting Lieutenant Governor Primavera as our keynote speaker as we continue to celebrate this milestone here locally at USAPA at Air Academy High School. The team continues planning efforts for upcoming Academy District 20 graduation ceremonies at Clune that will happen on the 12th and 13th of May. Obviously, we're tracking some of the installation access adjustments across the Front Range and the nation, and we'll have a solid plan to facilitate expedited and efficient entry and exit of USAPA grounds. And then finally, USAPA is always focused on producing mission-ready Air and Space Force leaders, and our cadets are embarking on a journey next week called the Culminating Exercise. This is an opportunity for them to look across the arc of their military training that they've had throughout the year and pull it together in a military readiness style exercise. So you'll see a lot more activity here at USAPA, flyovers of aircraft as our airmen work on airmanship and guardianship kind of fundamentals. They'll also be doing almost a field exercise across many different parts of the installation. So you'll see us on the move as we try to, again, build those war fighters that are ready on day one. Pending any questions, that's all I have. Thanks for all of your support to Team USAPA.
Oh, can you hear me? All right. Those are all wonderful events. Has anyone ever heard of Mercury being in retrograde? My sister's a firm believer in that when Mercury is in retrograde, you have serious problems with the computer system. So maybe we need to check. We're very excited for the opening of the visitor center. I was disappointed. I'm out of town at the event I was invited to. But maybe maybe there's another event that I can come and see, but all of us are very, very excited for the opening of that. We're also excited for our cadets to graduate. So Commissioner Weissong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colonel, when is the Air Force graduation? You missed that one.
I don't know if he's still there, but it is, I think, usually the day after Memorial Day.
I think it's the 28th, but I'm not
Okay.
positive.
I know it's right around then we have the planes. Okay, Joe Wyka with Fort Carson.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
All right. Well, welcome, team. So a couple 3 points to highlight here on behalf of Major General Ellis. So we're going to be executing an exercise called IV Mass down at Pinion Canyon. So many of you are familiar with that training area in further southern Colorado, where he'll be testing out next generation command and control system. So you'll probably read some items in the news about that in the coming month. That'll happen in May, and we're getting ready for that this month. We're continuing our transition to MCOM Pacific. So we've hosted some folks from there, and we've sent some folks increasingly across the Pacific Ocean over to Honolulu to synchronize our efforts with them. So it's a bit of a sea change for us in how we fight, I guess, and how we coordinate back in with the Army in the Pacific Theater. So you'll see more in the news about that. And I'll close up with the 24 fire. So on behalf of the team here, thank you to all of our mutual aid partners. I know many of you in the room contributed firefighting assets, and it was a big fire. It was one we haven't fought at that intensity or that risk probably for several years, and definitely probably a portent of things to come. Hopefully this summer will be effective as well. But we do thank our mutual aid partners. There were a lot of folks that helped, and they were there rapidly at the federal, state, local level from many counties surrounding and our partners locally. We did get a chance to break in our new fire station out there at Gate 6. So if you get a chance to see that, we'd be happy to host you. But that was one of our newer construction projects, was a brand new fire station out right along 115. So we were grateful to have that and grateful for the help from our partners. So that's all from Fort Carson. Thanks.
Okay, are there any comments? Thank you very much for your assistance on that fire too. Our deputy county administrator has a house south of that fire and we appreciate it not burning down. So we appreciate it very much. Okay, let us go to Jeff Bunn with the Space Force.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to the board. Several items on the agenda for today. The Powers Airport Interchange Project, the Peterson Northgate Roundabout Project, and the Mark Shuffle Utility Infrastructure Project continue as scheduled, but they are kind of a trifecta of projects. With recent impact to the installation has caused some challenges. Our civil engineers have been in communication. With the project managers, trying to alleviate some of the choke points that have led to some 30-minute delays for our personnel getting off the installation. We're hoping to have some relief this week, and we really appreciate the open communications from the city, the state, and the project managers for these essential infrastructure projects. Out at Schriever, the Space Operations Installation Compatibility Use Zone Study Project continues. There was a Pentagon level working group meeting this week with the contracted team. They received their first significant briefing of the progress of the study, and we're still on track to have a completed product by the end of the fiscal year for Schriever. In response to global events, our military installations are still vigilant to national, international concerns. Hopefully it's been transparent to anyone who's been trying to access our installations for business. Please let me know if you've experienced any problems with that. Last month, Schriever and Cheyenne Mountain firefighters did support the 24 fire for several days as part of the multi-agency response. This coming fire season, we're ready to help, and definitely we're hoping for precipitation. Several Peterson members from the flight safety and operations side of support attended the airport safety risk management panel on March 27th. And I wanted to express appreciation for being invited to be part of that conversation regarding airfield operations, flight safety, and utility vitality. The Space Symposium starts next week. Many of our military leaders in the space community will be attending the event. And while this event is organized by the Space Foundation, many of our space and support personnel will be attending and participating in that several-day activity. And finally, Peterson is hosting State of the Base on Tuesday, May 17th. It'll be, I believe it's 10:30 a.m. to noon at the Peterson Hub. Invitations should be coming out shortly. Please block your date, or block the date from your calendar. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly. Pending any questions, that's all I have to brief.
Okay, do we have any questions? All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your report and your attendance as always. I did want to recognize that Mayor Pro Tem Steve King from Monument is also online now. So we appreciate that. Let us go to the next item, which is the Air Quality Control Air Quality Awareness Week proclamation. Angie, is Angie here? Okay.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So this is a proclamation for recognizing Air Quality Awareness Week. Air Quality Awareness Week is a national event that takes place the first week of May every year. For 2026, that's May 4 through 8. And the purpose of the event is to support efforts to encourage people to make voluntary actions to improve air quality. So this board signed a proclamation previously in 2020 and 2025 recognizing the event. And so typically for Air Quality Awareness Week, there are different themes recognized for each day to promote different aspects of air quality. So this year, well, every year that we've been participating at PPACG, a lot of acronyms, sorry. PPACG collaborates with CDPHE's Air Quality or Air Pollution Control Division and their Regional Air Monitoring and Messaging Group, which is basically air quality planning groups across the state to determine what those themes are for each day. So this year we have identified the themes as wildfire smoke preparedness, air pollution and health, air quality action, indoor air quality, and community connections. These are intentionally pretty broad to allow, adjustments across the state. So those are the themes, and with this proclamation, PPACG will coordinate planning, outreach and education efforts across our air quality planning area to promote the goals of Air Quality Awareness Week. Any questions?
Okay, the proclamation is in your packet. And so I guess we need a motion and a second.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve. Ross.
Second.
Okay. And then all in favor say aye.
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 I was
Okay.
gonna ask, we don't do a lot of proclamations. Do we want to read it into the record?
Yes, I can read it in the record, and then we'll have Dan Blankenship talk a little if you're available. Okay. All right, I'll read this. A proclamation by the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments Board of Directors in support of Air Quality Awareness Week, May 4th through 8th, 2026, adopted on April 8th, 2026. Whereas the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, PPACG, is committed to ensuring that every citizen in Park, Teller, and El Paso counties has healthy air to breathe. And whereas poor outdoor air quality can threaten the health of our citizens and children, people with lung disease, older adults, and people with heart disease tend to be more vulnerable to outdoor pollution. And it would be beneficial for all people to learn more about the effects air quality may have on their health. And whereas PPACG is crafting positive strategies to reduce air pollution by empowering and motivating residents across the region to help in reducing harmful air pollutants. And whereas PPACG, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency are supporting efforts to encourage Americans to understand what causes poor air quality and make strides to improve the overall outdoor air quality. And whereas the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments is an association of 3 counties and 13 municipalities representing the Pikes Peak region, and therefore, the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments Board of Directors recognizes and encourages all of our communities to recognize and celebrate Air Quality Awareness Week, May 4th, 2026 to May 8th, 2026. Resolved, approved, and adopted by the Board of Directors of the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments this 8th day of April, 2026 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. This will be signed by Commissioner Holly Williams, Chairman, and attested to by Mayor Sharon Thompson, Secretary. Dan, did you have some comments for us?
Just real briefly, just to let you know, I am one of 9 state commissioners that serve on the Air Quality Control Commission. I am the only one who lives and works outside of the Denver metro area and North Front Range. So I feel like I represent not only the area that we live in, but also the rest of the state. I think a lot of folks don't really realize that there are some air quality concerns in the Pikes Peak region. In particular with regard to ozone. A lot of that is imported from other areas of our country, but we are in a situation where we're bumping up around the national threshold for the national air quality levels for ozone. So I think it's really important to be aware of our situation and to take whatever actions that can be done to help address that situation. So Commissioner Williams, thank you for the opportunity to address that.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other comments? All right, let's all look for good air quality. We can all ride our bikes that week. Okay, Volunteer Appreciation Month proclamation. Dolly Mancata. Is this another one I get to read? I will read this one. Then we'll do the motion. I will move the proclamation by the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments Board of Directors in support of Volunteer Appreciation Month, April 8th, 2026. Whereas volunteers are the backbone of our community, offering their time, talents, and passion to support nonprofits, schools, parks, and fellow community members, and whereas being established in 1974 in the United States, National Volunteer Week highlights the critical role of service in creating a resilient future. And whereas National Volunteer Week, April 19th through 25th, 2026, encourages everyone to make and get involved and experience the power of service. And whereas volunteers in the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging have shown unwavering dedication, contributing countless hours to serving older adults with compassion, dignity, and equality. And whereas the service of volunteers strengthens our community by bringing people together, developing new skills, and providing an empowering sense of purpose. Therefore, the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Volunteer Appreciation Month in the Pikes Peak region and call upon all residents to recognize the vital impact of volunteers and to join us in thanking them for their dedicated service. Resolved, approved, and adopted by the Board of Directors of the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments this 8th day of April 2026 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. Commissioner Holly Williams, Chair, and attested to by Mayor Sharon Thompson, Secretary. Can I have a second?
Mayor Dixon second, but I think we ought to hear from our speaker.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I apologize. Well, really, I just want to thank you all for allowing this proclamation to be used as a way to recognize and show appreciation for all of the good work that the volunteers in our community do. I'm sure I'm not the first to say that the organizations that use volunteers would not be able to be as successful or to thrive to serve the community without the incredible efforts and time being put in by the volunteers that do the boots on the ground work for many groups and organizations, just like the Area Agency on Aging.
Okay, does anyone have any other comments? I know that I'm part of an organization that relies a lot on volunteers. We have a fundraiser a week and a half from now, and our fundraiser for about 15 years has been run by a now 80-year-old and probably a 74-year-old, and I think this is their last year. And so it's got me a little nervous. Because it's a lot of work to do it. And the volunteers we have are amazing, from our Area Agency on Aging to our volunteers, the court-appointed special advocates, and the many volunteers who do things in our community. We've always been a community of volunteerism. So, Mayor Thompson.
It says in the background notes for this item, we have two people that we've nominated for the Joe Hensham Award. Who have we volunteered or nominated?
We have two nominations, one being Jack Withrow, who has been a dedicated volunteer for, I think, 2007, I think, was as far back as some of his paperwork goes to. But he does lovely work doing volunteer work for our SHIP, so the Medicare counselors. And then the second volunteer that was nominated is a volunteer named Katie Cornelius, and she helps us with running our information and assistance phone line, and has also been with the agency for a handful of years since before COVID. So she has been with us through several iterations of the way the agency has operated and still going strong. Both really incredible, dedicated volunteers who also do volunteer work with other organizations. I know that Jack helps AARP every year for tax season, and Katie Cornelius can be found at so many events, senior centers. She is just always willing to lend a hand and jump in for any community initiative. She's great.
Well, thank you very much. All right, we have the proclamation. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. All right, we will move on to consent items. These items are acted upon as a whole unless they are called up for discussion by a board member wishing or a citizen wishing to address the board. Are there any questions on the consent calendar? Okay, I will take a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve the consent items. Mayor LaKine, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Our item number 5A, legislative update. As I understand, we're getting closer to the end.
We are, but we got a long way to go still.
Okay.
So good morning, board members, Jared Verner, Public Policy and Communications. If Ed and Jen are on, I will defer to them, but until I see them pop up, we'll just kind of dive into state bill position changes. So I think most of you know the legislative committee meets every other week right now. That might change as things really start to pick up. But in those last couple of meetings, the committee has adopted 4 new bill positions. All of them admin positions, and they're on your screen right now. All the other ones that we have previously adopted are in the memo afterwards, but we're focused on these 4. So the first one, amending 1269, this is the transit access bill, one that we've been following since the stakeholder process. We are advocating for amendments along with several other transit agencies across the state to address some reporting requirements that are in the bill still, that right now MMT and several other transit agencies don't collect. This bill has been significantly amended since it was initially introduced, which has largely taken out everybody in this region with the exception of Mountain Metro. House Bill 1289, this is a modification of certain tax expenditures. This is one that is very closely tied with House Bill 1102, which went through this first Senate hearing yesterday. We are just asking and clarifying because I was talking to some members earlier today. The state fiscal notes between 1102 and 1289 do not match up. And so we just want to basically clarify that anything that they take out of the highway users tax fund at 1102 gets fully replaced in 1289. Had good discussion with Senator Snyder. He's the lead sponsor on the Senate side on 1102 on that yesterday. House Bill 1398, this is one of the orbital bills tied to the long bill. This is the retail delivery fee revenue allocation. Went through its first committee hearing and appropriations on Monday. What this bill is proposing is changing the current 85-15 split between locals and state and turning it into a 70-30 split. So the locals will be getting only 70% instead of 85%. We're in an amend position to try to at least, if we can get it back to 85-15, great. Then at that point, the bill is not doing anything. But at least can we get it closer to 85-15? While this is an orbital bill, this does not impact the bottom line in terms of general revenue or general fund. And so we're hopeful this one has a little bit of a chance to at least they can hear our concerns. And then House Bill 261399. This is an orbital bill as well. Eliminate the general fund transfer to the multimodal transportation fund. So in Senate Bill 260 in 2021, part of that requirement was an annual appropriation of $10.5 million from the general fund into this multimodal mitigation and transportation options fund. This would essentially cancel that from here on out. Our amend position is to just pause it for this 1 year, and then have it come back again for next year rather than just cancel it permanently. So those are the 4 amend positions that we've taken. I'm happy to answer any other questions or answer any other questions on other bills as they are making their way through the legislature.
Councilmember Donaldson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. And two questions on these. The final bill that's listed on there, we're advocating that it's just a 1-year suspension versus complete
elimination.
Elimination. If it was to happen for 1 year or indefinitely, is it just at the legislature's discretion where the money would go?
So we would just be saying pause it for this 1 year. It would still revert to requirements in Senate Bill 21260 for that annual 10.5 million appropriation into this fund. So we're just saying pause it this year.
Yeah.
That because that is part. I mean, if they're not going, if we were to say we want the money, we want all 10.5 million, where is it going to come from? I think if we had an idea of where that 10.5 million could come from, that would be a little more persuasive. Obviously, I think it's well known the state budget scenario right now. And so the reality of that going through and just
I'll try to be clearer with that. Right now, the money goes into the multimodal transportation and mitigation options fund. It seems like if that is taken away, it just the legislature can use it however they would like. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. But if it was to go towards highway repair, I would prefer that than multimodal transportation and mitigation. Where would it go if it doesn't go into this multimodal transportation and mitigation?
Apologies. Now
Yeah.
I just didn't your question. So right now it's just going back into the general fund.
All right.
And then it goes to wherever they decide.
All right. So that could be worse.
So, but yeah, no, but this was so Senate Bill 260 in 2021 was tied to the greenhouse gas targets. And part of the argument was like, well, if you're going to have us hit these targets, please provide us funding to help meet those targets.
Yeah.
And that's where this MMOF fund came into play. And now they're taking it away, or at least a 10.5 million from the general fund. It's tied to retail delivery fee because part of the retail delivery fee also goes into the MMOF fund. And they're also saying they're going to take less of it from the locals to make the state essentially whole.
Okay, I think that kind of covered my other question too then. Thanks.
Okay.
And there are many multimodal projects, especially by the smaller cities and towns, that could include, I guess that was safe routes to schools that Lewis Palmer did, but a lot of times they include just a small bus stop or, fixing the street crosswalks and stuff. There's a lot of smaller ones that the cities and towns apply for in the small communities. So, Mayor Thompson.
So if they're moving the money away from that fund, multimodal fund, are they changing the targets?
No.
Just want to put it out there publicly, right? They're
Nope.
still continuing to take your money from the delivery fee that was supposed to be allocated for multimodal. And they're taking it and using it, as Councilmember Donaldson just pointed out, for whatever they want to. But the targets are still remaining without the funding available to help do those. Just wanted to make sure I had it right. Do I have it right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
sometimes you just got to say it.
Jared, could you explain, the orbital bills are all tied into the long bill?
Correct. So there was 62 orbital bills. And so in order to balance the budget with the long bill, these other 62 bills are needed in a lot of ways to make it whole. And that's where, like with 1399, they're taking that 10.5 million, putting into the general fund to balance the budget. 1398 is a little bit different just because it's a fee revenue. It's not impacting the bottom line. It is helping CDOT. And so that 70-30 split, CDOT is now going to get twice as much as they did previously from the retail delivery fee. Compound that with what they're taking from 1399, CDOT's going to be whole at the end of the day, at the expense of the locals.
And Madam President,
Councilmember Donaldson?
yeah, how much comes in from this retail delivery fee revenue?
For what goes to MMOF, because I think a portion of it also goes to other places as well. But for the MMOF part, it's about 10.5, $11 million. I'm looking at my transportation planners. Retail delivery fee. Yep, it's roughly the same, and there's a fiscal note attached to it. But the only reason why I know it's roughly that 10.5 is because it roughly matches what is coming out. They are expecting to grow based on the fiscal note, so that number will go up as was forecasted. But yeah, based on how that split is working, CDOT is roughly even.
And so we're, the amendment we're requesting would keep it at 85-15 versus their proposed 70-30 split. But the difference, the extra 15% again goes, what's that going to get used for?
For CDOT? Or yeah, our understanding for CDOT is that is going to go to busting funding.
So it goes to busting. Okay. That's enough.
The other concern we discussed yesterday in our commissioner meeting, one of the budget balancing tricks they have this year, this is a public service announcement, is to sweep the unclaimed property fund. That is $893 million, and it's the Greater Colorado Payback. So I would suggest that you go on today and make sure you don't have any and apply today
to get say it, Holly, but we've tried multiple times to get money back from that fund, and it is next to impossible to get it back the way they have it set up.
Well, they have an extra 24 employees, so I don't understand what they're doing up there then. So yeah. I know that it's in Utah, after my mom passed away, it became nearly impossible to get hers back. So that just sits there, but I would go on and check just in case. Maybe we just all ought to rent a bus and go up to Denver, and anyone who has some, we can just stand in line at the treasurer's office. Or space on busting. Councilmember Rainey.
Thank you, Madam President. So I don't want to belabor Bustang. However, I think what you just mentioned, and I want to make sure there's clarity there, that those funds would go to Bustang, which will be in the general fund. Is that to help extend the current contract or at least maintain it for the next couple of years? I know we discussed this during the working group meeting. Do you know what the plan is for those funds towards Bustang?
So my understanding is operations and maintenance probably getting a little bit beyond, but so yeah, the two bills are related, but they are tied together. And so and what I'm pulling the Bustang funding from is just from the Joint Budget Committee hearing a couple months or about a month ago or something when they were discussing how they're going to do this. But yeah, my understanding is that it just goes into the Bustang pot. They can use it however they choose to see fit. My understanding is that the current 15% is already, that's what they're using it for. They could be used for other projects. But that gets into our next agenda item on general Bustang funding.
Okay, I'll wait to that point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, if I'm right now, we do need to have an approval for our positions on amending the bills or on the whole legislative report. So I will take a motion to approve the legislative report.
Madam President, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next item, policy position on busting funding. Jared.
All righty, so we're going to jump to much further in the packet. So for forgive me a little bit, but I'm going to give a little bit of background before we get to where we are today. And so in 2015, the state launched Bustang as an intercity bus service, starting with lines connecting Denver, going north to Fort Collins, south to Colorado Springs, and west to Grand Junction. And Senate Bill 21260, another bill we keep referencing. Part of that was also a 3-year pilot service expansion. And so using ARPA funds, that allowed Bustang to go from 6 daily round trips between Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, and Denver up to 12, so doubling the service. And then on the Grand Junction line, doubling that from 4 daily round trips to 15. That funding is now expiring. And so now it's a bigger question about how does that Bustang move forward. This has been something that's been talked about the last 2 months at the Colorado Transportation Commission, as well as the Colorado Transportation Investment Office. You might hear referred to as CTIO. Just talking about how did they do this. So for the next fiscal year, CDOT will be roughly about a $30 million deficit for keeping Bustang funding existing where it is. And then going out 4 years, that deficit will climb up to about $41 million. Through the use of one-time funds and some other things, CDOT has gotten the upcoming fiscal year budget or deficit down to $7 million. And then observing the workshops, CDOT is confident they will be able to address how to get that other $7 million. But it still leaves the bigger long-term, what does Bustang funding look like? I want to reiterate, no decisions have been made. There's no policy proposal on the table. However, they've had a couple presentations and joint workshops between the Transportation Commission and CTIO about what the different options are. There's different federal programs, different state programs, different enterprises, but they seem to keep coming back to CTIO as how to address this long-term budget deficit. There is, I will say CTIO has not given a dollar figure for what they can support, despite what I've heard 2 very direct asks at commission workshops. So CTIO has not signed on to this idea.
And CTIO is the express lane funding.
Express lane funding.
Okay.
And so their primary source of revenue for CTIO is the express lanes, as well as the congestion mitigation or congestion impact fee.
Okay.
What that is your $3 per day rental fee, rental car fee. Rental car revenue can be spent anywhere across the state. However, based on current state law, anything collected within the express lanes have to stay within the corridor. That has now been addressed twice through various legislation that is how it should be spent. Anything collected from, example, I-25 South Gap has to be spent within that corridor. We are concerned because of how the discussions have gone about them possibly trying to change that, or at least getting a legal interpretation from the Attorney General's office that maybe they could pull that out of the corridors. And so we're a little bit concerned that what we were promised with the I-25 South expansion, and that the toll revenue would go back into the area between Colorado Springs and Castle Rock, may now be going to support projects outside of that area. And so with all that, we are asking to adopt a policy position. We have one similar for the state legislature. And while we could probably argue that this is tangential enough, we don't have one that's specific for like commissions like this. And so we're asking to adopt a policy position as it relates to Bustang funding. And if Tom, if you can go to page 58. So we got 3 bullet points: open to feedback or open to other changes. But the ones that we're proposing is just a reiteration that CTIO toll revenue should follow the existing state law, and I cited that right there. That should be reinvested into the corridors collected from. The second one, we are also asking that the Transportation Commission evaluate the appropriate levels of service for Bustang funding for Bustang across the state. We looked, and it's linked at the bottom as a footnote, but there is ridership data that shows that as Colorado Springs, the South Line has twice as many trips as it did in 2019 before the pandemic, ridership is either the same or less than it was in 2019. We feel like if a 3-year pilot project or a 3-year pilot expansion is enough to show like, is there an opportunity to right size that service? We're also asking that the Transportation Commission evaluate its fare structure. As far as we can tell, what we can find going back to 2018, while inflation has gone up about 30%, the price for a one-way ticket up to Denver is still $12. And so we would encourage the Transportation Commission to take a good look at its fare box structure or its fare box or its fare structure to potentially increase fare box recovery. You know, we're very supportive of Bustang. It serves a purpose. I use it because it is the cheapest way to get up between here and Denver. And I can still get quite a bit of work done. I will also say, as a frequent wide rider, it's not full between here and Denver. And so I think there's an opportunity because right now the discussion has been, let's just keep the current levels of funding a service and try to find the money to support it. And we would, with these bullet points, say, let's look at and make sure that the service we're providing is a service that's actually needed. We also have 2 letters that, with your approval, we'd be sending to the Transportation Commission and the CTIO Board of Directors as well. They do meet next Wednesday and Thursday.
Are there any comments?
Madam Chair, Jared, did you want to also just make a couple of comments about the Grand Junction service?
I'm happy to. So, so the Grand Junction service went from 4 daily round trips up to 15. And it is the largest amount of revenue for Bustang, and they do get quite a bit of the ridership from that. But it does have points that people get. I don't know if it's just where they get on or if it's where they get on and off. Obviously, Denver is a big part of that network, followed by Glenwood Springs, and then based on the map that we saw, either one of the stops looks like it's Vail. There is discussion. I do know that there's another service that Bustang offers that they feel might be competing with the West Line. So at least they are having some discussions. It's just seems to be a secondary discussion to how do we find $30 million. I will say, based on the ridership number, the North Line between Colorado Springs and Fort Collins does seem to be improving, not to the same level as the West Line. Part of this discussion on the CTIO side is that CTIO has a requirement to basically fund the expansion lanes that they've added. And they also have requirements related to passenger rail, both on the Front Range and Mountain Rail, which I think partly is why CTIO has not given a number on what they could support. CTIO has in the past provided funding for transit capital projects, but this is an operations and maintenance request. And so it's a little bit different on how CTIO could support something like that, if that's ultimately how this falls into place.
Councilmember Rainey.
Thank you, Madam President. Jared, so the comment you made about the $12 and potentially looking at the utilization between the different corridors, is our position for them to relook at that and assess, and I guess I'll use Grand Junction as an example, because of the high usage between that corridor versus maybe Colorado Springs and Denver, that an adjustment fee or a fee adjustment be made based on that? Is that the position?
So just looking at fares in general. So the $12 is between Colorado Springs and Denver. They do price it based on the distance. So that is not, you're not going from Grand Junction to Denver for $12. They do price it based on approximate miles. So I don't know if I don't have the West Line structure up in front of me, but yeah, they do adjust. But again, looking at just the Colorado Springs one, it hasn't moved. I don't know if that's the same thing for the West Line or the North Line.
It's based on miles, not utilization.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Thank you. Madam President.
Councilmember Donaldson.
Jared, do you know, is in working on this and just research about Bustang, how, what's the cost per passenger moved around the state by mile or whatever metric is used to compare how much, how expensive is bus staying to the state? And this is a little much broader than what we're here. I'll support your this recommendation, but just curious. I suspect it's very expensive for how many people get moved, how far.
I'm trying to pull up real quick the March Transportation Commission packet. So far, I'm not seeing that revenue per service hour. I know that's one that MMT, Mountain Metro Transit, does report. Because I also get to sit on PPRT meetings, and that is a metric that MMT provides.
Yeah.
They do provide,
but that's revenue per service hour.
Right.
I'm curious about how much does this program cost, and how, if you divide that up by people that get a ride somewhere, what does that break down to?
So I can say for what they're looking at for next year, it's a total budget on the main line, which is the 3 main lines. Busting also does Outrider. They do other lines, but we're focusing on the main line. The budget for next year, they have it $37.9 million. Again, that's for next year. And in terms of fare box recovery, it's about 20%.
7 million. Maybe.
So let's see. Busting main line. Keep in mind the length for the north and south runs are about 65 miles. The west line is about 240 miles. So that's going to kind of throw it off.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to slow us down, but that's what I always wonder on things like this is how much does this really cost per person? That it's a valuable service for those that are using it, but how much does it cost? Because sometimes things are just so expensive. We'd like to do them, but they don't make sense anymore. But okay, thank you.
Mayor Thompson.
I think the wisdom that the local governments used by using our ARPA funds to do one-time projects and not do things that needed to be extended beyond the use of that dollars is very obvious in this room today. And the not so wise use of those funds by our state government to use them for something that needed funding beyond. We don't fund things on a hope and a wish and a prayer that someday we will have the money for them. I've sat in this room for a number of years, and busting has been same discussions year after year, and it all has come down to funding. The state started off with, oh, we're going to fill the buses and get all these cars off the road so we don't have to, it's going to pay for itself in the capacity projects we don't have to build. I think that wish and hope and prayer has been shown to be not fulfilled. So I think, the council member to my mayor to my left brought up an interesting point. Is this going to continue if the Front Range passenger rail were to begin? They hope all these people that are not riding the bus are going to, non-riders are going to get on the train and take it. So I have heard some numbers thrown out from the seat rides, but I don't want to say them publicly because I'm sure they're not accurate. I'm sure it costs way more than that. I do agree with the letter, but the gap was sold to the citizens that the money would stay where it was collected. And over during the balloting, during the campaign, that was said. And it is unethical to come back at this point and use the legislative process to take those dollars away from where they were promised to the citizens during that initiative that they would be used. And I think people need to stand up and say, we're pretty fed up with that. I'm not yelling at you. You're up there, so I'm looking at you. Oh, I'm not. He's a sweetheart. I would never yell at Jared. Besides, he lives in Fountain, so I have to be nice. Just teasing it. I'm sorry, I made you blush. Anyways, but I get real passionate when money is collected for one thing and then it's used for another. And I believe if we do that in our local governments, our citizens have the right to question us on that. So I think the citizens need to kind of stand up and say, this is not paying for itself. And while I think there are people that need this, let's analyze the lines and the times that they're being used and narrow it down to those times. When I see buses continually all day long leaving the Fountain park and ride, and there is one person on them, the driver, it's a little ridiculous after a while. So if people are using that first thing in the morning and coming home in the afternoon, then fine. The rest of them, you don't need to stop there. But the price of gas is probably not even included in these right now. And while I support the letter, and like Dave, Councilman Donaldson said, I'm going to support the letter. But I think we really need to start. All the citizens need to start speaking up against. You collected the money. You're continuing to collect it. Leave it where you promised it. I'm done with my rants.
Good. I think it's great. I know that when my husband was Secretary of State, he frequently rode the bus thing back and forth every day. The concern I have with them not raising the ticket prices and having them stay in the corridor. So I pulled it up. It's $43 to ride from Denver to Grand Junction. And if you're doing that round trip, you can get a slight discount. If you even raise it by 3% a year, not even the inflation rate, what you do get is you can dedicate a fund for the next time a rock rolls down the mountain in Glenwood Springs, and you have something to start on that repair. Because once you have to close Glenwood Springs Canyon, we lose a lot of our money because everybody has to go through Wyoming or they have to go on US 50. So it just doesn't make any sense to me that they would raid these funds when they're such a good source of funds for a high impact corridor anyway. And the same goes honestly for from up through the Gap, because that's getting to be a high impact corridor with the amount of growth in Douglas County and the people going to Denver every day. And I would say, keep the main buses that are running on, from 3 to 6 and during hours when people get off work, and cut down the, mid-morning buses when people might not be riding. So I think there's a lot of creativity they could come up with there. But I'm fully in support of this letter. Do we have any comments online or anyone else who would like to comment? Okay, I will take a motion to approve this item. All right, we've got a motion from Councilmember Rainey and then a second from Mayor Case. All in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? Okay, we'll get that done. Our next item is our wonderful safety action plan adoption. John Leosatos.
Madam Chair, members of the board, as introduced, I'm John Leosatos, your transportation director here at PPACG. The item we have for you today is the Certified Safety Action Plan, and hopefully we have our consultants online, Gurov and Melanie from FHU. So if they're there, and you can promote them, Tommy, so that they can jump in if I say something wrong, that'd be great. So this effort started, I think, back in 24 when the whole issue sort of came up of the federal government would be supplying funding, Safe Streets for All, to do safety projects. But to be eligible for that funding, you needed to be included, your project needed to be included in a Certified Safety Action Plan. So we sort of scampered to see what the interest would be and everything else. We ran into a little bit of an issue with paying the required match, but luckily the state of Colorado, through the Department of Local Affairs, or DOLA, had a program called DOLA Loma, which is fun to say, but the Loma funds were available. We could match that together, and we were rolling. Problem came up was that PPACG is not eligible for the Loma funds. So Woodland Park stepped up, and they are the actual sponsor of this project. And so they've received the Safe Streets for All grant, as well as the DOLA funds. So for the jurisdictions that were involved, one's fund source matched the other. So there was not a huge
financial lift from the other jurisdictions. So thank you very much to Woodland Park for doing that. As we sort of move forward, Colorado Springs determined it was a different animal due to the dense urban nature of Colorado Springs. And so they did their own, they opted out of our regional plan and did their own. And the city of Fountain also opted out and did their own plan. So we have 3 certified safety action plans within the region, Colorado Springs, Fountain, and then this plan covers everything else for Park, Teller, and El Paso County. Moving forward, this board did have a presentation from Guroff back, I think, in July of last year. We talked about the plan and the commitment language, and we wanted to make sure we specifically sort of found language that this board was comfortable with. They did all of the sort of the technical exercise because, again, the Certified Safety Action Plan really looks at data and where the accidents are happening and moving forward. Flash forward, they developed the plan. Our jurisdictions, again, thank you to everybody, especially our friends at El Paso County that really interacted well with the consultants and gave them the information that they needed. And a draft Certified Safety Action Plan was developed. It came to you, so you have seen it before. You released it for public comment because of the way the dates worked out. We couldn't hit 30 days at our last meeting. So the 30-day public comment period is over. The consultant and staff and others looked at the comments we received. We received 3 comments. None of them were project specific and of a technical nature that warranted any changes to the plan. I will mention that we did have some additional comments from El Paso County. So we made sure that those all got incorporated, and those are in the final version that's in front of you today. So we're looking for you to adopt the plan today. What would happen now is there has been a call for projects released by, or a notice of funding availability, or NOFA, it's fun to say, NOFA, from the feds. So now our jurisdictions can actually put together project applications for that NOFA based on the information and the data that is available in the Certified Safety Action Plan. So this opens the door and makes it possible to move on to the next step for the jurisdictions to go after that funding. We are requesting that you do it at this particular meeting. Hopefully, we've been so transparent that if you had any questions, we would have heard them by now. Because again, the deadline for the NOFA is such that we really want to have it adopted today so that our jurisdictions can move forward and get their applications in. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. And I think if Guroff or Melanie are on the line, they will help me. I see Guroff. So we're happy to answer any questions you have, but hopefully it's like, oh yeah, we remember this, and we get a motion.
Mayor Dixon.
So you've stated that this is really the foundation for Safe Streets for All. Is it limited to Safe Streets for All, or can we use it as foundation for other items?
Yes, so it is a Certified Safety Action Plan. It is a requirement for the Safe Streets for All funding. But that being said, if you're putting together an application for anything, I would definitely say we are included in this in the PPACG Region Safe Streets for All plan. I would also include that if you're consistent with the long range plan, any plan that you're in always helps your application process. So it certainly doesn't hurt you to be part of this, but it is helpful for other things as well. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't know if our consultant had comments. I know he's unmuted.
Oh, I was just ready to answer any questions that might come up.
Okay.
But I
he was going to say what a joy it is
John's
working
previous,
with me.
I can add to John's previous answer that yes, this document is can be used for any kind of safety funding, HSIP, SS4A. It's meant to be a living document so that it helps inform future decisions to improve safety in the whole region.
Okay, well, we appreciate, go ahead, Commissioner Weissong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What's the duration of this study? I just heard it's a living document, so how often would it be updated?
So the intent is that the crash data and the data behind it can be updated. So we used the latest available 5 years of crash data. So it would be dependent on the agencies how often it is updated. As part of this funding, this is the end of the project. However, it's up to agencies how they want to update this project. We've set out a process. We've developed a crash data analysis process. It's broken down and provided in the document and in the appendices, so it can be used for future generations of this document. So that was my intent with the idea of a living document, because it sets the paradigm for future safety improvements in the area.
Yeah, and let me put a little different spin on that answer. So, and Gaurav, thank you. And I think we also tried to find data that was easy for us to update the plan with in the future. We didn't want to create a data monster that was expensive to feed over time. But the document is, again, a product of the federal administration. And at the time it was created, it said, hey, we have this document we'd like you to have. And so here are all the carrots that you can eat with that. Here's all of the funding that is associated with that. If moving forward into the future, if future federal administrations move away and there's no funding associated with it, at that point, I mean, we will keep updating the information because that's relatively easy to do. But if there's no reason to do Certified Safety Action Plan 2.0 5 years from now, or do any sort of major update because there's no funding associated with it, then eventually the document will probably sort of get used to prop a door open or something. So Gaurav, is that a correct statement?
I should have. Yeah, absolutely. I should have mentioned that the document does have a prioritized list of projects that are identified that could be completed over several years. So that is also how the document is a living document, because it's not just projects that are completed within the next few years. As funding becomes available to agencies, we have a comprehensive list of projects identified, prioritized based on need and efficacy that can be completed and implemented over several years.
Did that get where we needed? Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, I will take a motion to approve the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan.
Mayor Dixon also move.
Did I say that right?
Mayor Case second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
And thank you. And again, just a quick second to thank FHU, Gaurav, and Melanie for all of their hard work in getting this together. And again, all of our jurisdictions. And again, the folks that work for you all, they put a lot of time into this. Gaurav can't just wave a magic wand, right? The data has to come from the jurisdictions and move forward, and the reading of the document and reviewing all that. So again, your staffs took a lot of time to make it happen. So again, thank you for the folks that are from the jurisdictions to make this happen. So
well, thank you to you and your staff too.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Area Agency on Aging State Fiscal Year of 2027 Regional Advisory Committee Staff Funding Recommendations. Carol McBroom.
Yeah, good morning. Carol McBroom, PPACG Finance Director. Yeah, so I'm here looking for approval for the state fiscal year 27 provider funding allocation. This funding is funded through the Older Americans Act and the Older Coloradians Act Fund, which is distributed through our PPAAA program. The allocation for this year is $5.8 million, of which 3.6 is going to be funneled through to our providers, 2.2 million will be kept internally for our internal programs. And that leaves us about 100,000 to kind of piecemeal in when we get the kind of funding buckets, and we have to, because of compliance, we have to have those funds available. Just wanted to ensure you that these recommendations align with the area agency's 4-year plan. It is reflecting their priorities, usage rates, required contracting processes, and prior year allocations. The funds are used to serve older adults with older individuals and older individuals with disabilities and individuals with disabilities, excuse me. So I wanted to kind of get you a timeline to how we got to where we are today. So let's start back in September of 25. We opened up the RFP process to the community. In December 2025, the staff took the recommendations to the TRS committee, which were approved. Then it went to the RAC committee, which it was approved, but at a 5-3 vote. January of 2026, we had a formal appeal by the Fountain Valley Senior Center. And then in February, we had a reconsideration request received by Park County Senior Coalition. In March of 2026, both Park County and Fountain Valley presented their appeals to the TRS at the TRS meeting. In that same meeting, the TRS adopted the staff recommendation, but there are conditional releases of funds, and we'll get into that in just a second. In March 26th of 2026, it went to the RAC, which approved, and again, it approved the updated funding recommendation based on the conditional release of these funds for these 2 providers that we'll talk about again in a second. I'm here looking for board approval of these recommendations. And then just in the calendar, I say the conditional release will have 2 important dates, October 1st and then December 31st. So let's talk about how we allocated funding of that 5.8 million. And these are the important pieces to the allocation. Brothers Redevelopment, we increased their request by 50,000, and that's because their services were lost when we lost next day access, and it's an important service, and Brothers Redevelopment provides those services. We reduced funding for new services requested for disability, which is 50,000. They wanted to start a voucher transportation program. We didn't believe there was funding to start a new service. A brand new provider went through the RFP process called GoGo Technologies. We are taking them out of the allocation altogether. We believe we don't have funding to launch a new service. Regents of the University of Colorado Springs University, they requested 25,000 for a screening service. Again, we believe we don't have funds to launch a new service. There were some additions to the to providers. Teller Senior Coalition, we're increasing their allocation by about 31,000, and that is an error on our part. It was a calculation error that we did that we need to make right. And again, the last 2 on the list are the El Paso, Fountain Valley. We are increasing the allocation by 56,000. Again, this is a conditional release, and the incremental funds will be released. They're going to be held in reserves and released after a correction actions have been met. Same thing for Park County. We're increasing their budget or their allocation by 21,000. And again, those funds will be held in a reserve until the conditional release are met. So let's talk about the conditional release. We do have correction actions that we're requiring for these 2 providers, and again, they'll be held in reserve and released upon completion of the required improvements. We believe this approach is a great pathway to help increase funding for these providers, but at the same time maintaining accountability with full allocations contingent on demonstrated progress of these providers. In October, we're going to look at the initial progress and review their conditional release of funding, with December being the final conditional release of funding full determination. So let's talk about the two providers in question. Fountain Valley Senior Center, part of the conditional release requirements will be management stability, timely solution-focused communication, on-time OASIS submission, trained SUDS super user, accurate data entry and reporting, and resolution of issues and any fiscal assessment program monitor findings that are currently in process. For Park, policy and procedure compliance, on-time OASIS submission, trained SUDS super user, accurate data entry and reporting, resolution of issues on any fiscal assessments and program monitoring findings, again, going on currently, and the ability and capacity to sustain compliance as required, as requirements evolved. And we have learned going through this process that PPACG needs to improve as well, and that is our communication with our providers. And we are changing policies and procedures, and we're dedicated to ensure that we're transparent and that each provider knows where they stand, and if there are any discrepancies, that we're there to help them, that they understand what those are. So today I am here, I'm looking for approval on the 5.8 million allocation. I call it contingent because the fact of the matter is that we don't know what the final number is. It is a reduction, that 5.8 is a reduction from current funding right now. But it is contingent on the final number that we should get within the next, couple months, hopefully. So this, the final allocation spreadsheet is included in your packet, and happy to answer any questions.
And the funding comes from both the state and the federal.
Correct.
Okay. One of the issues we had in this process that we talked about at the board meeting was when there is an appeal, we don't have an appeal board. And so one of the things we need to be thinking about, because there was an appeal by Fountain Valley and I think Park Senior Coalition, and we didn't have an appeal board. And I'm just in thinking through this, wondering if we make the appeal board the executive committee of the board of directors. It was just hard because the appeal just went right back to the aging commission. And so there would be we've got to find a way in the future to resolve these appeals before we get to next year or before the end of December, so that we know. Mayor Thompson.
I believe I heard through the grapevine that the RAC committee is looking at taking that on to bring a suggestion back to it.
Awesome.
Did I hear that right?
You did, correct.
Okay. There's always better meetings or minds on it than mine.
Yeah, and also would like to just say that I feel like if the communication would have been better throughout the year, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if this would have popped up as an issue when it did. So that is really on us to start that process immediately.
Yeah. It takes a lot of communication sometimes to get things done. All right. So are there any other questions on the distribution of funding? All right. With that, this is an information item. Nope, this is approval. Okay. With that, we will take a motion to approve the allocations.
Motion to approve the allocations for the
Okay.
Air and Aging.
Mayor Dixon, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you for all of your hard work, especially the RAC as well. Okay, we are on to the information items. The Pikes Peak Commission on Aging Annual Update. Melissa Martz.
Morning, board. I'm Melissa Martz. I'm the program development administrator for the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging. I know some of you, but many I'm meeting for the first time today. So hello, and I'm here to introduce our chair for our Pikes Peak Commission on Aging, which is Miss Paula Levy. Before I do that, though, I just want to put a reminder out about what the Commission on Aging is. Paula will go into some of these details as well. However, the
Pikes Peak Commission on Aging is an offshoot of the Colorado Springs Commission on Aging, which was created through the AARP Age-Friendly Communities work that happened back around 2016, 2017 or so. So really the Commission on Aging is very different from our Regional Advisory Council, which you just kind of heard about with the funding that we approved. So thank you very much for that. The Commission on Aging really is doing a lot more work around how to promote age-friendly work in the communities, our kind of 3-county area, not just the city of Colorado Springs, but far and beyond, which is why we're happy to have Paula Levy as the chair of that committee, because she has, experience in Teller County as well as here. And so Paula is our chair. She's been doing it for 2 years now. Thank you, Paula. And she also is the owner of Never Alone Consulting, so supporting family caregivers in ways that are beyond words, and also a executive director for A Place Like Home, which is a adult day program that she's in the process of getting going here in Colorado Springs. So again, supporting all things with family caregivers. So thank you. And also thank you for your work as the chair with our commission. So Paula.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. As you see on your first slide, the leadership and advocacy entities for the older Coloradans are listed, and the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging collaborate with all of those entities. And we also have liaisons within each entity that reports back to our commission. The first one being the Colorado Commission on Aging, and Penny Whitney is our Southern Colorado-based appointee to the Colorado Commission on Aging, and she is also the liaison to our Commission on Aging. The Colorado Center on Aging is a nonprofit made up of volunteers, and the mission of the Colorado Center on Aging is to educate and inform the public, community leaders, and elected officials on the diverse communities across the state and issues that impact the health and well-being of the older Coloradans. And the age-friendly Pikes Peak is the continued efforts to align the region with AARP and age-friendly recommendations, and we are in the process of collaborating with age-friendly Pikes Peak within our committees that we have, our work groups, and we are in the process of collaborating and combining those work groups so that we can work together and not separately on the issues that face our seniors in our communities. Next slide. The mission and vision of our Commission on Aging is that the mission is that we seek to enrich the lives of our diverse senior community, advocating for effective and beneficial policy and encouraging robust collaboration among the service providers for our seniors. Our vision statement is that every senior is supported, honored, valued, and engaged, made evident by their inclusion in our communities. And we've really made a huge improvement with this vision statement in that when I first joined the commission, there was maybe 5 or 6 commissioners in the group, and we are now up to 13 commissioners from a cross section of our jurisdictions, which is really exciting that we have such a cross section and such a diverse group of professionals that are really involved and invested in the seniors in our community. The Pikes Peak Commission on Aging advocates at a systems-wide policy and legislative level in partnership with the PPACG board to improve the lives of the older adults and create age-friendly communities. And our work aligns from the efforts with the efforts of the AAA 4-year plan, the age-friendly campaigns, and AARP's livability index. Our aging role is to encourage collaboration and the strategic planning between organizations and individuals with common goals. And how we do that is through outreach, communication, and advocacy. And we really want to identify gaps
and to avoid duplication in services. And we've really done well to do that and targeting those services that were being duplicated and really bringing the forces together so that we are combining efforts and not duplicating services. We advise the board of directors on initiatives, policies, and programming that will improve the lives of seniors. And we ensure appropriate amount of urgency and importance that is placed among in considerations for the seniors. The governance we have includes an executive committee, the policy committee, and the membership committee. And those are made up of commissioners within our group. And the focus areas that our group is working on is housing and transportation. And the one thing that we've really surfaced through that group is the 2026 support of senior homestead tax exemption. Steve Schleicher is one of our commissioners, and along with Phil Stafford, they've done amazing work along that area. And social engagement, creating a sense of belonging and value by fostering purposeful skill building that leverages a community unique resources and assets. One thing that this group has done recently by the leadership of Kathy Cirillo Smith, who's the vice chair, couldn't be here today, has gone into the mobile home park located across from Harrison High School and held a ice cream social, sponsored an ice cream social for the group of residents there, who some have lived there for over 40 years and didn't even know each other, never even talked to each other. And we had the ice cream social. The Hey Neighbor community was also represented there, and people came out of their mobile homes, talked to each other, communicated. We had the yellow book available to them. They had no idea such resources were available, and just had an amazing community event. And they're still talking to each other. They're still just engaging in neighborhood type things that they had no idea who their neighbors were. So we're going moving on to other communities and hopefully developing those type of social engagements in other areas. And we've also bonded with the Hey Neighbor group. We actually have a Hey Neighbor person, an active member of Hey Neighbor as a commissioner in our group now too. The caregiving group advocates for resources to improve caregiver experiences, and we have the 2026 Pampering Day coming up the second Saturday in May, which will be held at the Colorado Springs Senior Center. Jane Barton, who is a caregiver expert, very well known, will be the guest speaker there. Caregivers are able to sign up for this event for free. They are able to get vouchers so that if they have their loved one still at home, they have a voucher where they can bring someone in to care for their loved one while they have the chance to participate in this Pampering Day, and just have pampering given to them and their loved one taken care of so that they don't have to worry about that. This has been an annual event for several years. Also, the Colorado Senior Games, we are looking to incorporating a dementia-friendly efforts as part of that game. And I met with the folks at the Sports Corps along with Dr. Joanna Fix, who is living with dementia. She was diagnosed at 47, is currently 58, and is really spearheading this effort to have a dementia-friendly category, dementia-friendly area, so that there's inclusion for that population in this event. So it's not going to happen this year, but stay tuned because that's going to be something exciting to watch unfold. One hope that we have for our commissioners, especially those that are appointed, that they will be giving biannual presentations within the jurisdictions to your groups during May and October, which is Older Americans Month. And we hope that our commissioners can come in front of your councils and let you all know what we're up to, and hopefully spark interest in some of your community members in hopes that they will want to be a part of our commission. This last slide, I think I'm way ahead of myself on the screen, lists out our representative members. And you can see we've got a nice group from Colorado Springs, El Paso County. All of our El Paso County commissioners have been appointed. We have Penny Everest appointed from Park County. Bob Foster is our newly appointed Teller County Commissioner. I'm listed twice just because I lived and worked in Teller County for over 23 years and now am down here in Colorado Springs. But my call to action for you all is to look for people in your community that might be interested in serving on our commission. We would still need people from Manitou and Monument. I think we've got someone from Monument now, but we still need people from all over different jurisdictions to be involved with our commission. And if you have people that you would like to have appointed, Alyssa knows the protocol and the steps that we need to take. We have a membership committee person that will meet with them one-on-one and get them going in the right direction. But our commission has never been stronger, and we're excited for the work that we're doing. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions? All right, we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Andy, are you available to do the human trafficking initiative?
Yes, Madam Chair, happy to kick it off.
Okay.
Mayor Thompson, if you want to help out, feel free to jump in, or other members of our Mayor's Caucus. But this is an item that came out of the Pikes Peak Mayor's Caucus. We formed this about 1.5 years ago. Mayor Thompson is the current chair. Mayor LeKind is the vice chair. But the past couple of months, when the mayors have been meeting, there's been a lot of interest in doing something around raising awareness around human trafficking. Not something that comes up routinely in the work that we do, but since we have a transportation component, obviously in PPACG, we thought it was timely to bring this to the PPACG board as well. The Mayor's Caucus basically adopted the draft proclamation that you have in your packet at their last meeting just a couple of weeks ago. So this doesn't bind anybody to anything, but it does. The intent is to raise awareness around the significant challenges with human trafficking, including throughout our region. I know Mayor Annie Durham has brought up a lot of challenges, concerns up in the Cripple Creek area with activity, around the casinos and such. So everybody's been really, really concerned about that and really want to do what they can to raise awareness. And also, secondly, to promote training opportunities, whether it's with people that work in the transportation sector, bus drivers, if MMT can maybe have drivers engage in training just to know what to look for. Basically, if they know what the signs are for folks that are being trafficked. So bus drivers, truck drivers, we're working on a freight regional plan as well that John and his team are leading, and they've come across different training opportunities in different organizations like Truckers Against Trafficking. There's an alliance out there that deals with that and holds various training opportunities. So that would be the second part of it, just encouraging folks to get involved in training activities to know basically what to look for. So this is up just as a draft. If the board is good with it, we're going to bring it back next month for adoption. We also have a sample local jurisdiction resolution that was passed by the town of Green Mountain Falls, and Mayor Dixon can speak to this, but their board of trustees passed this, I think, just a couple of weeks ago. So also encouraging local jurisdictions to take this up as well, pass similar proclamations or resolutions just as another way to get the word out to the community that this is a serious issue, even within our backyard, and we need to just be more aware about it. But Mayor Thompson, other mayors, anything that you all wanted to add?
You did a great job of summarizing it. Thank you very much. The intent in this is to really just education and hoping different municipalities and maybe even the county will do a proclamation, obviously against human trafficking. It came to my attention through an organization that when we offer the free bus service, that they are possibly using those bus services during the summer for free to transport victims around. And so we just really wanted to raise the awareness of what's going on in your area and train people when you're taking a bus somewhere if something doesn't look right. Have that number with you to contact them, because they're not asking you to call 911 and get intervened, but they're asking you to help collect data so that, maybe we can provide the last tipping point of being able to prosecute something. They're very, very difficult cases to prosecute. And if you speak to the DA, they're nearly impossible, but we all need to be doing our best when we see something suspicious. And I appreciate Green Mountain Falls stepping out and being the first one. Fountain, we're going to do it next week. So thank you.
Yeah, Green Mountain Falls, that's a direct result of the mayor's caucus. And with the increased tourism that we've been having, the board, it was an easy sell to the board to have a resolution like this. So, yeah.
And
Again, it's just to raise awareness.
Yeah. And the great thing about this is a lot of the trainings provided through like truckers against trafficking are free, right? And so it's just a matter of implementing them into your community and getting people trained on it.
Thank you very much. So this is an information item. I assume we're all interested in bringing it next month as a proclamation. I would like to. All right. If there's no objections, we'll do that. And maybe we can get a little bit of information too about some of the organizations that we could speak to. All right. So that is that information item. Let's go through our reports and minutes. We have the Transportation Advisory Committee, the Community Advisory Committee, the Mobility Coordinating Work Group, the Regional Advisory Council, the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging, the Air Quality Working Group, the Water Quality Management Committee, all have met and have included their minutes in our packet. So do we have a representative from CDOT here today? Okay, come on up. Let's have our CDOT monthly update.
Scott Schnocki with CDOT here, just filling in for John and Shane. So I want to read through the list. Stop me if you have any questions. I had an extra cup of coffee today, so I might go a little fast. All right, PPACG, we have the active construction projects. Powers and Airport Road interchange should be completing in 2026. I-25 Fillmore to Garden of the Gods reconstruction completing in 2026. Colorado 67D north of Woodland Park, the improvements are completing by July 4th is the plan. We have the advanced flashers at US 24 and 31st Street and Colorado 115 and Star Ranch Road. And then we have the backplate installation at various signals. So the planned future PPACG projects of note include US 24 and Academy Park Loop traffic signal installation 2026, US 24G at Stapleton traffic signal installation in 2026, Colorado 83 and County Line Road traffic signal replacement in 2026, I-25 wildlife fence north gate to Colorado 105 in 2026, Colorado 83 and Stagecoach roundabout in 2027, US 24G Garrett to Woodman Road includes the access improvements and frontage and backage roads. That's in 2027. US 24G at Judge Orr intersection improvements. That includes the new Bluegill intersection with US 24G that's being shifted south. That's in 2027. US 24A at Green Mountain Falls. We have the intersection improvements planned in 2027.
Let's see, are there any questions on Mitch, Mayor Mitch?
Yeah, on the wildlife fencing,
as I understand it, county engineering has reached out and stated some objections to that project in the current form. Do you have anything that you can add to that?
No, I'm not directly involved in that, but I will talk with John.
Okay, I would like to just put on record and get to the CDOT folks. Monument has agreed with the objections from the county and wanted to add an additional one, that the Beacon Light Road intersection and 105 is not designed in its current format to safely accommodate the additional detoured traffic that CDOT is planning down Beacon Light Road, especially given that the county is spending great sums of money to improve Beacon Light Road at the time. And so detouring traffic down that during an active construction site, as well as there's no light at Beacon Light and 105, which the state owns 105, would not be great while that project is going on. So probably need to have some bigger conversations around it.
Yes, I would agree with Mayor LeKind. We need that probably to go down the other side on Monument Hill, which is by Palmer Ridge High School. But I would much rather have it go down that other side. And then they have a light there at 105. Thank you. And Woodmore. They can turn left, turn right, get back on the freeway. The road is a PERTA maintained road. It's in fairly good condition. The only thing I'd worry about is the Palmer Ridge traffic during
And
after.
it's Palmer Elementary, and I mean there's 3 schools along that road.
Yeah, but I mean we have to have it go down something other than Beacon Light, because that's just not safe unless honestly, with all the construction, it's not safe. But I guess we could have them install a temporary light at the bottom, but you'll just have people race right through that because they're not used to it. So I'd rather go down the other side and not furrow, but let's see if we can talk about that. I can email Josh Palmer at the county and we'll see if we can get things going on that.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll pass those concerns along. So that's the primary, just related to the temporary traffic detour during construction for the detoured traffic.
For the fencing, yeah. Wildlife fencing.
Okay.
I'm not saying future, once all the construction is done and CDOT addresses the intersection, that it couldn't be done. I think the timing is just.
The timing's just off.
A little bit.
Okay. The is the Greenland Bridge open?
The wildlife overpass?
Uh-huh.
I believe so. I don't believe there's any fencing blocking.
Are there cameras up on it? We've been anxiously awaiting to watch to see if deer are crossing it.
That's a good question. I have not gotten to see any videos or pictures of that one.
CDOT representatives have told me there's cameras that are not live by design for us to view to assure that people don't travel that direction when they see herds of wild animals. Wow.
We're just wondering if Bambi's reunited with his mother.
Yeah.
So, okay. No more jokes about that. Let's go. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mayor Stern.
Forgive my Mayor Stern, Palmer Lake. Forgive my ignorance, but what's a back plate?
It's, I believe, a plate behind the signal to make the visibility better for the actual signal, is my understanding.
Okay.
Councilmember Donaldson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. And to go back to the Bambi issue, I was talking with John Leosatos before we started today, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, John. Take it easy. It's all going to be complimentary. He had a lot of brilliant things to say, but one of them was what state is it, John? You mentioned Arizona. They do. I guess they just put up video clips from a Animal Crossing bridge, and it's very popular. That whatever it is, Facebook page or however they do that. So I think people are interested, and it was expensive, so it would be a way for them to feel like it's something interesting that they're getting kind of a secondary benefit from it. Provides the crossing for the animals, but it's also lots of kids like to see the herd of elk or whatever the animals are, predators, whatever they are. So honestly, I think that would be something that the state could use to create some goodwill with, well, to some degree, goodwill with the citizens. So I think it'd be a good idea. And it doesn't have to be just a freaking feed where you have to like sit there and watch hours to see one animal cross, but you know, the highlights.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I've gotten to see some pictures and videos from different overpasses when I've asked our biologists.
It's a
So,
really good idea.
yeah.
I think they're delayed is what somebody said, so that you're not getting it live.
But of course, and I'm saying, we don't want to feed where you watch 5 hours of grass blowing to see one deer. We want highlights. So, and it doesn't have to have a date, timestamp, or anything like that.
We just want the highlight reel.
We want the highlights on
That's
action.
the good part.
But I mean, it's kind of humorous, but I think it could become, you know, quite popular with citizens.
Yeah, we built some fencing on 115 right around the new bridge that was constructed just south of Rock Creek. So got to see some pictures of bear and deer crossing there, which was fun. So just those stills are nice to see. Just a one-time snapshot. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Weishaupt.
I like the highlight Colorado wildlife, highlight reel. Just as kind of an interesting point, I believe it was on 60 Minutes, maybe 2 weeks or so ago. There's a wildlife bridge crossing somewhere in the Southern California mid area. They're at about $115 to $20 million, and they're not even close to being finished. So I had to look up what ours cost, and I just wanted to know if you might have that. But it looked as though we only spent about 15 million.
I think that's in the ballpark, but I wasn't involved in that one with it being a region project. But
We're thinking it was 15 million, and it was a Dr. Cog project. So that their area council of governments decided it was their #1 project this year.
But I'm just thankful that from a state perspective, that we seem to have done a good job versus what's going on in California. And it was ridiculed in many different, subsequent, media shows. But
that's good.
Good job on that one.
Thank you.
Okay, we love to ask questions in this report. So
Yeah.
I take it John didn't warn you, or Shane. So
No, it's okay. I've been to here a couple of times before. So
okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next page.
Okay, so CFR active construction projects. We've got the Colorado 69 resurfacing that's south of Texas Creek, got the US 24G resurfacing and passing lane east of Peyton through Calhan. So the passing lane's just east of Calhan. Colorado 115A concrete preventive maintenance and rehab in Penrose, that 4-mile concrete stretch there. Got US 24 resurfacing Lower Sant through Divide, Teller County. That's in its final minor work and striping, should be done by June. Got sign replacements on Colorado 9, US 24, and US 285 in Park County. And then our planned future CFR projects, the main ones are US 50A resurfacing from Penrose to Pueblo County line. That's 2027. We have Colorado 9C resurfacing from Fairplay up to Hoosier Pass in 2027. And the US 50A reconstruction and safety improvements of 8 Mile Hill west of Canyon City. It's TBD. We're going for a build grant application is in.
Are there any questions? Mayor Case. There we go. I would just like to make a comment, and it's not something that's on this list, but there's quite a bit of noise and displeasure and concern about some letters that were received from the property owners around the intersection of 24 and 67 in Divide, and the anticipation of a roundabout being installed at that intersection. And I can tell you that the elected officials and the property owners around that, and just the rumor mill and people talking about in response to those that received that letter, that about what a horrible, inconsiderate idea that they feel like that is. And I can tell you that there's going to be quite a bit of feedback, and you all are going to receive a bunch of grief about that.
even considering that for a safety improvement in that intersection. And they're just, with the amount of traffic and large vehicles that go through there, I mean, there's semi trucks that go through there every day to the mine with cyanide in their transportation. And so and it just is a very big concern and a very big topic conversation in Teller County right now. So just be prepared for that. And hopefully there's an opportunity for reconsideration based on public input. But I just wanted to share that with you all and with you to share back with the folks in your office. So I appreciate the opportunity to bring that up. Thank you.
No, yeah, thank you very much. I'll pass that along. And I know the project is in its early phases, so I'll pass along the comments. Thank you.
A very thorough public process would be highly recommended. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Our next report is the Statewide Transportation Advisory Committee. We attended the meeting and had some reports from the legislative report, 10-year plan update, an electrical vehicle program update, which led to some questions about electrical bikes on roads and trails. And so we're working hard to find information on that. And the roadside fire mitigation update, which is really important after we saw the fire, the 24 fire. So it's really important in your communities to, if you get the chance, to take out those weeds on the sides of the major roads. So because it's such a dry year. And I don't know if the minutes come out for that yet. Okay, so when the minutes come out, we'll send that out all to you. And they're working on the budget right now, so I don't know if their budget will be established at this week's transportation meeting or if it's going to be, or next week, I think is the transportation committee meeting, or if it's not going to be until June. So, yes, Mayor Thompson.
I dropped in on the meeting towards the end when they were doing their report on mowing.
Yes.
Mowing isn't too exciting, except when your city is not mowed, and then it becomes exciting. So I was wondering if I took some pictures of some of the slides, and I was just wondering if it was possible when they talked about the mowing operations, and they just gave really general numbers, and I learned what a swath mile was. You know what a swath mile? It's the how wide the mowing platform is. It's called a swath mile. And so anyways, they just gave general very general on how many swath miles they did, how much money they spent on it, and very general on the spraying program for weeds. I would like to see if we could get a report on that broke down by regions and broke down by counties. I'm a firm believer that our county is very underserved by CDOT when it comes to mowing and weed spray. Gosh, the people that drive around in the little trucks and they pick up the sand, street sweeping. We are taking money out of our budget because CDOT has not been down in our area for years to sweep the sand. And we're having motorcyclists slide in the sand and get severely injured. And I believe that is something that falls under a safety program that could be eliminated in the program. But I don't think if you drive up north, some of the state highways are beautiful when it comes to mowing and weeds, and down here, it's a mess. And we have had state legislatures write CDOT, county commissioners, our council members, and it just needs to be addressed in making sure that we're getting our fair share of our money in our community when it comes to those miles being mowed and sprayed. So you could get that breakdown for us. I think that would be helpful.
Okay, I will ask about that.
And pick it up the sand.
And the sand, yes. So our next report is the Front Range Passenger Rail update.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple things to report. Yes, they settled on a name, so it sounds like they're gonna use COCO, Colorado Connection. I joked about we should call the caboose Melon. So there did some votes with the board, and we talked about special districts. As we know, the Denver Broncos are definitely want to be a corporate partner. They want to throw some money at this. Franchise is planning on building a new stadium within the next 5 years over at the Buckingham Rail Yards. And so we did a vote on that to kind of help us set the stage to start designating special districts. So
Wait, I think it's the Burnham Yard.
Is it Burnham Yard?
Burnham Rail Yards,
Burnham.
and if they want the Buc-ee's up there next to that, we'll send it up there immediately. Oh, I was excited when they proposed Larkspur.
So just trying to designate, what's considered special use, what's not. Definitely the Denver Broncos, like I said, as a corporate partner, they want to throw some money at this. They want a station. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day, because the franchise plans to hold a Super Bowl within the next decade or so. So they want to host. So pretty big deal. And everything outside of that, just normal. They're trying to move on some MOUs and they're trying to get some ballot language together, but we're coming up on some deadlines, and basically within the next couple months, if we don't have something like in writing, we don't have rough drafts, we're going to be behind. So in the next month or two, it'll be make or break for the board. If they can't get something together, then we got to wait another year before we can run any sort of ballot initiative to try to find funding. So, yeah.
But I understood from, I think, the press release, they do have the money ready for the Denver to Boulder line, because that was collected by RTD and never spent.
Right, but where the issue is lying now is, so like RTD is upside down. They're millions of dollars in the hole. Right, they need to hire, even like they've got a few little even low level positions they need to hire. They can't even afford to hire right now. So they're undermanned, they're underfunded, and people have been paying into this for years and they're not seeing any results. They're not seeing either an RTD line or the Front Range passenger rail line running where it was supposed to run. And so there's a lot of upset communities that are just north of Denver that aren't really appreciating this right now. So again, more issues and more hiccups with what the board has to face to try to get any movement on this. So, Yep.
Okay, thank you for that report. There is a list of committee and commission vacancies in your folder. Please be sure to check your jurisdiction. And now we'll have Andy give our executive director's report.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. If my voice holds out, I've got 5 items, but I'll be fairly brief, I think. First, you've got an updated board handbook for 2026. I know we have hard copies in the room if anybody wants a hard copy, but we'll email this out as well, so everybody's got it electronically. But thank you to Cheryl for pulling all this together. It has all the basics that you need, bylaws, meeting procedures, nuts and bolts about our different programs, things like that. So we'll get that out, and it's got all the essential stuff you need to be a board member. Secondly, I know we've got flyers in the room as well on this, and I think I sent something out on this a couple of weeks ago, but our AAA staff have partnered with End Credit Union to host a fraud and scam presentation and luncheon this coming Friday. Lunch is being provided by End. Really appreciate their partnership here, but fraud and scam issues have become much more pervasive past couple of years with AI and all the other tools that are out there. So obviously our senior population is especially vulnerable. So Melissa Martz has done a great job getting this moving. Melissa may still be in the room, but if you have any questions, feel free to track her down or let me know. But help spread the word and sign up if you're interested in coming this coming Friday. Third, I'll mention that I think Karen Rowe might still be online, but we're hosting a grant summit, grant roundtable, April 29th from 9 to noon in our meeting space there, where we're going to bring in different state agencies and federal agencies to talk about different grant opportunities that they have available today and maybe in the foreseeable short-term future. Gives us a chance to also hear from our jurisdictions as far as what their needs may be as far as projects. Also gives us a way to really gauge interest and demand in keeping the program going. We've got Karen funded through September 30th of this year with state funding we got from the governor's office to do the good work here with grant navigation services. After that, there's no guarantee that the money is going to continue. So we're looking at different ways if we can cobble things together to keep the good work going. That's our hope, but also want to hear from the jurisdictions if there's interest, if there's demand out there to keep things going as well. So that'll be coming up again. I think it's Wednesday, April 29th in the morning. Fourth, I'll mention that we made a report on this month or two ago about our military planning grant that we submitted to Department of Defense, Department of War last month, and we got preliminary approval that the grant has basically been approved and we could start charging against it starting this month. Still waiting for the final signed agreement and all that, but super excited that that's coming through. That's going to help us with a variety of different projects around USAFA, around Fort Carson, dealing with wildfire mitigation, post-fire flood issues. We've also got a work element in there that our federal partners wanted us to include around encroachment. So we're still trying to scope that out to see what that's going to entail without duplicating current efforts that are underway with the SOIQ study and other efforts. But yeah, super excited, very happy that that's been approved. I know that I got feedback from Councilmember Donaldson, Commissioner Wysong, and Mayor Thompson will have her on the distribution as well. We're setting up a regional leaders advisory group. If others want to be on the distribution for that or participate when you have time, feel free to let me know. It's not going to be a heavy lift, but it's a group that we pull together periodically, maybe quarterly throughout the year, just to give us feedback, bounce ideas off as we're scoping out the different parts of this overall project. But really excited that that's been approved. Finally, we're about to submit, hopefully this month, we're going to submit a grant application to CDOT for a transportation management organization, which is basically kind of a single purpose, a focused entity that would really look at travel demand and ways to reduce congestion, working with our major employers and within other activity areas across the region, promoting alternate modes, van pools, and things like that. So pretty excited that we're able to get this moving. A lot of urbanized areas, our size, smaller and larger, have an entity that really does focus on alternate modes and reducing congestion in a way that helps improve air quality as well. But we haven't had one here, and it's been a little bit bifurcated. We work closely with MMT, but we don't have a formal organization that helps with outreach and awareness and promoting the different travel options that are available out there. So excited that we're pulling all this together. The money's available. We understand from the state, from different funding sources. So we're going to be submitting that grant application here in the coming weeks. And Madam Chair, I think that's all I've got, pending any questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw. You have a question I can see?
Yeah. Yes, I do. If you can send me an email reminder on that grant opportunity meeting on the 29th, that would be much appreciated. We got some projects or one big project we'd like to get the ball rolling on, and maybe I can get some of our council members to attend to it.
Super. We got you down. Absolutely. Thank you for that, William.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Andy, for that report. So we will go around the room to see what kind of things are going on in your community. I think that's where we are. So, Mayor Stern.
Palmer Lake is just cruising along. We're getting ready for our 4th of July festivities, of course, and the summer tourist influx. Other than that, I don't have any other thing to report.
Councilmember Rainey.
Thank you. Lots going on with the city of Colorado Springs. I think a lot of people have seen, whether that's through media outlets or watching themselves. This past Monday, we went through a pretty extensive process of selecting the next District 2 City Council member. That was a list of 25 applicants based on the process. Dwindled that down to 6 applicants. We ended up interviewing 5. And then when the process was said and done, Mr. Ken Casey was selected as the new District 2 City Council member. He's going through a lot of training and orientation this week, and then next week, Monday, he will officially be sworn in and then hit the ground running as our new city councilman for District 2. So many of you may know his name. He's the, I guess you can call him the former chair now of the Planning Commission. So he will be taking off in that role, replacing former council member Tom Bailey. Also, I want to make mention on behalf of the mayor's office, during a recent leadership forum, he made the announcement of his new selected chief of staff, and that individual is Mr. Wayne Williams. So I know there's a lot of rumor out there, but I just wanted to make sure that I put that officially on record. That was announced during a recent city leadership forum. So you'll start to see his pretty face sitting at the dais. I believe the date that they are targeting is sometime in May. So more details to come on that. It was already mentioned about the Space Symposium. Of course, that's a major revenue injection into our economy. There is a Space Symposium kickoff event on the 13th at 6:15 p.m. at the Broadmoor. If a lot of folks, elected officials, have received those invites, if you have not received an invite and would like to attend, please feel free to shoot me an email, roland.rainey@coloradosprings.gov, and I can help facilitate getting you into that event. If you haven't been to one, it is a phenomenal event. And I know this year, again, there's a major drone spectacular that's going to happen during that kickoff. And with everything that's kind of going on, I just wanted to make note of this. I believe this is going to be the first one. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's going to be the first one here in the county with the throes of the gubernatorial races on April 21st. There will be a debate here in El Paso County. It will be on the 21st at Centennial Hall, 5:30 p.m. More details to come on that one, and I will make it a point, Andy, to get you those details since I've been selected to be the moderator of that particular debate. So more details to come, but I thought I want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. So
Okay. Councilmember Donaldson.
Yeah, I think. Is that on? Is it on? It was on before. Okay. So thank you, Madam President, and Councilman Rainey has pretty much hit the highlights. I'll just add that we expect 12,000 people for the Space Symposium. And this is interesting. This coming Friday, Good Morning America will be broadcast live atop Pikes Peak for the entire show to celebrate America's 250th. So that's all I have.
Goodness, do they have to start like at 3 a.m. up there?
I don't know any other details. I won't be there.
Okay. Mayor Case.
So I just wanted to share something pretty exciting that I've been working on for quite a while now, but I can't share a lot of details because under confidentiality agreement, but the Palmer Land Conservancy is under contract with an offer to purchase the Pinestone Ranch up. It's a ranch up in the hills above the foothills above Walmart, behind Walmart in Woodland Park. It's a 685-acre parcel, and it actually does go up and joins with the North Slope and different access points with regards to Pikes Peak. So we're in the process where I signed a resolution last Thursday in support of that and in support of them purchasing that. Large part of the funding will be a GOCO grant or loan. And so it's pretty exciting to have the possibility of preserving another 685 acres of open space in our area up there. So in addition to the 355 of the golf course and 120 acres at Avenger, pretty fun stuff going on up there that has been going on during my tenure, which really makes it rewarding service. And again, thank you all for everything. It's been a joy and a pleasure serving with all of you. And I'm sure I'll see you again because I'm not going anywhere.
Sounds like we're going to get more tourism up in Woodland Park coming by Green Mountain Falls. Mayor Dixon.
So a while back, Sally Clark with the USDA came in and gave a PPACG a presentation. That was actually the genesis of Green Mountain Falls receiving a grant from the USDA to do a wastewater feasibility study. The official announcement is actually going to take place April 14th at 11 a.m. at our gazebo. And so since it started here, it's an open invitation for anyone who wants to come up and take part in that official announcement.
Mayor Thompson.
Yeah, we have a couple things coming up. April 23rd, 5:30 to 8 is Autism Night at the fire department. So if you know anybody that lives in Fountain Valley at Fire Station 1, they're more than welcome to come by. We usually do free hot dogs for the kids, but it's a really cool opportunity for the kids to get in and out of the fire trucks, the ambulances and all that kind of stuff without the noise and the chaos of it being an actual event. So if you have a kid that would benefit from that, and there is no definition on the top age limit of kid, and so it's just a really cool opportunity for them to come do that. And that is obviously open to the community. So 5:30 to 8, April 23rd. And then May 6th is the National Day of Prayer and the prayer garden that is on I-25 between exit 128 and 132. Big, huge cross. You can't miss it if you look to the east. Is having just open events all day. If you'd like to come by and just participate in their events, they're going to have various people leading prayers and groups coming in, and just it's an open, no set time event. So you're welcome to drop by Fountain for those couple of things.
Mayor LeKind.
Yeah, we have one thing I'd like to bring up. At the end of our board meeting Monday night, we officially approved what was called Project Cobalt. It was a joint effort between El Paso County, Colorado Springs Economic Development, Monument, and the state. We are bringing somewhere in the range of 150 jobs to manufacturing jobs to the town in a 200,000 square foot space that had already been developed. And we should be seeing somewhere in the range of $30 to $40 million in capital improvements that will be going on in that building over the next year and a half to bring those jobs that will start in 2027. So we have a primary employer now in the town of Monument.
That is wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're looking forward to the big presser that will certainly be scheduled here soon.
Okay. All right, Mayor Johnson.
Great. Let's see. I just have one thing to share as well. The Mountain Metro Route 3 bus line from Colorado Springs through Colorado City to Manitou is now free. That's a project we've been working on in some form or fashion for about 6 years. So it's really exciting, and it will be interesting to see how it is utilized moving forward.
Commissioner Weissong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First question, Councilman Rainey. I have something down for Space Unified at the Olympic Museum on Wednesday at 6. Is what you were talking about something completely different?
Yeah, what I was referring to was the Space Symposium.
Okay.
I'm not tracking the event that you're mentioning, but I'm very curious now.
All right.
That event.
Well, we'll try to figure it out.
Fair enough.
All right. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Read a proclamation yesterday at the Board of Commissioners meeting, and then attended two proclamation, well, 1.5. At Manitou Springs yesterday, and then I was about 5 minutes late up in Green Mountain Falls, just trying to get up there in time. I believe Monuments was read on Monday at your town council.
There was so much that was read on Monday that yes.
Okay.
Ours was, Woodland Parks was read Thursday.
Great. And we have, they may still have some pinwheels left over. They're silver and blue for the most part. Some of them I think are just silver. What I don't know, which in listening to, the comment about the child trafficking or just the trafficking, if there's any kind of interaction between the two. So I'll have to take a look at that. I know Fountain and Callahan have upcoming readings if they haven't already happened. And Mayor Stern, I'll want to talk to you about when we might be able to read. Okay, great. The National Interagency Coordination Center, that's a mouthful. Really what I'm addressing here, their wildfire assessment, just in the state of Colorado, doubled in 30 days from beginning of March to April 1st. This could be a crazy season, wildfire season. As reported in the Gazette, in a couple different articles, we are much, much drier this year than we were in 2012 and 2013 for the Waldo and Black Forest fires. So just for whatever it's worth, keep on top of what's going on within the communities to try to figure out how we can save ourselves from kind of a potential super disaster. With then on top of all this, we have the pine beetle issue. I was talking to one of the fire marshals for Crystal Peak yesterday. They've already got a large chunk of their particular area where the beetle has actually killed a large swath of trees. So it's here. Now the question is what are we going to do with it or do about it? The governor set up a task force by executive order. They're not supposed to be completed with their projects and assessment until the end of June. One concern I have is that, okay, the legislative season is over, I think on May 13th. And at this point in time, there's no bill trying to get funding for any kind of pine beetle mitigation because the trees need to be literally removed and burned or incinerated as close as you can. You don't chop it down and chip it because you just created a bigger mess. So it's going to be a lot more expensive, but if you look at what happened in the Waldo Canyon burn on the foothills, that could be our view all the way along the Front Range if we don't do something really quickly. Thank you.
Commissioner Applegate.
Yes. So I know it's a ways out, but Friday, April 17th, I'm going to be doing some certificates for El Paso County Sheriff's Office for their dispatch office. So I always say our patrol officers are the boots on the ground. They get to see the good, the bad, the ugly. The dispatchers get to listen to that and hear that. So I can only imagine what they go through, what their day-to-day is like. So we're going to be doing some honors and some recognition, and that'll come the night after the award ceremony for that for some of the patrol officers. So really proud of Thin Blue Line. So in this area, I think we have really good public safety. So.
Councilmember Gatlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Right now, we just continue advancing our destination resort label. This Saturday, one of the casinos is hosting a tribute to Led Zeppelin. So that's a nice ticket item. They're going to start off with their gig with Stairway to Heaven, and they're going to end with Stairway to Cripple Creek.
Nice. Okay, we're going to try online. Commissioner Mitchell. I don't know if she's.
Thank you, Madam President. I am listening. Park County, we are in Pray for Moisture season. As been mentioned, we are desperate and very concerned. We are in a stage 2 fire ban, which means you can't even use a chainsaw without a spark arrestor. We are clamping down hard on anything that is going to ignite the dry fuels that we have. We are conducting intergovernmental work on beetle kill plans, trying to figure out what to do. The beetles are going to fly early. It is projected this year. So we don't know if we're going to be able to even stop their infestation for the trees that are going to happen next year. Also, for the Good Morning America, they probably need to bring a bunch of oxygen with them if they're going to be filming on top of Pikes Peak. But that's it. Anyone coming to visit Park County, just please be careful and maybe ask all your residents down the hill to be mindful of don't spark anything. Thank you very much.
Okay, and as one of my friends likes to say, keep your butts, B-U-T-T-S, in the car. That would be cigarette butts, sorry. Old joke, old joke. Council Member Williams, if you're available.
Thank you, Chair Williams. My fellow council members did a good job summarizing everything. One thing I did want to mention is that I will be having a town hall tomorrow evening, and that is in Old Colorado City at Story Coffee at 5:30 p.m. And then I'll probably turn this over if he's willing to share. Councilmember Rainey is also having a town hall tomorrow, and if he wanted to get his message out, time and location, that would be wonderful.
Thank you, Council Member Williams. That is correct. I will be holding a town hall in District 6 at Fire Station 20. That will start at 5:30 to 7 p.m. A host of great city leaders coming to speak about various items. Specifically, we'll have Steve Slacker there to talk about voting and what's happening in the county. Also, we'll have Public Works, representative from the airport, and then have someone to really dig deep down into some of the construction that we have in the area, especially Dublin and Mark Shuffle. So it's going to be a great town hall. Thank you for that, Councilmember Williams.
You're welcome. And that reminds me, Councilmember Rainey is mostly going to have, obviously, everybody now and Colorado Springs Utilities. Mine's going to be focusing more on parks and public works and public safety and discussions about the Colorado Avenue corridor. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
I don't really have anything to speak on right now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, that is our around the room. Really appreciate everyone coming. Sure. We have an upcoming meeting schedule in our folder, and we're getting closer to the state legislature being adjourned, which will make us all happy. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you for attending.